What's up, people? Hey, Max. Hey, Ralph. I'm actually also live on YouTube. I'm trying to push people to go there. I spent the day re-uploading all the stuff we put on Facebook and organizing it in playlists on YouTube. So right now I have a live feed with 0 people watching on YouTube. So go there. Hey, Cody. So if you go to the YouTube, youtube.com/Marbin Music and subscribe. Thanks, Joey. Hey, Aaron. The Fender. Hey, Mackenzie. Rebecca, what's going on? Let's see. Minor question. A melodic minor, why is it one way ascending and one? Oh, yeah, that's just in classical music. You can really ignore that thing. It's the same both ways. It's just 1, 2, flat, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like a major scale with a flatted third. Hey, Christian. Fame is overrated. That's true. You know, I wouldn't know. 3 people watching on YouTube. Welcome, YouTube people. Is this mic working well? Does it sound okay? Tell me. Tell me. Hey, David. Hey, Micon. Okay, I guess it's time to play some music for you guys. So let me pull out some sort of play along. So I'll have something to play along with. About For Sephora. I was like that song. Play along. Bear with me, bear with me. All righty. You look better here. Thanks, Ralph. Sounds good. Hey, everybody. Yeah, so 3 people watching on YouTube. This is exciting. We're and 81 on Facebook. So if that's Spain, no, that's for Sephora by Stokler Rosenberg. Hey, Mark. Thank you. Thank you. Teach me how to play Volta, please. Okay, no problem. Let's do Volta. Ben, just beautiful. Thanks, guys. Wow, lots of comments. So go to youtube.com/Marbin Music if you want to see this now. It's streaming there too with better sound. Subscribe. It has better sound because it's running through my mic and through my camera. Thanks, Zachary. Appreciate it. Green Bay, we're coming. We're going to play all over Wisconsin in the fall, so we have dates coming up. Can you touch sweep picking? Ever play Fiesco Brand Electric? No, I haven't. Okay, so Volta, the intro goes like this. So there's like these harmonics. There's 12, 12, 7, 7. And then I go 12, 7, 12, 7. For those of you who don't know, you can play an E minor pentatonic scale by alternating the 7th fret on the B string to the 12th fret of the E string, and then just take that pattern down. So that song is in E minor. So then the riff, once the saxophone plays that melody, that's one of our songs. Thanks, Larry. We'll come to Nashville. So that's the harmonic riff, and then it goes to a riff that goes just like E octave, and then G, B, and the chords really are E minor, G, B minor, right? And then it has that melody. It goes. Right, that's it's in 4, but it's like very syncopated. Don't see the streaming on Marbin. No, not Marbin Music. Go to youtube.com/Marbin Music. That's where it's streaming. So it's on our YouTube channel. So it's that riff is. So that's just E minor pentatonic, right? I'd play it like this. It's all like economy picking too. So like down, up, up, down. So that's very un-gypsy. That's really before I had my gypsy shit together. So I was playing really in like Frank Gambale style picking, to where it's like really economy picking. So it's like down, up, up, down. So it's down, up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, right? And then, so that's really the whole thing. You get it? So I have one more fret on my sword. But down there. And then it's basically E minor pentatonic. Sharing you to Dan Bird and Homemades and Friends. Cool. Let's see. Guitar sounds better here, but voice is lower. That's not good. Let me turn up the mic. Cool. Is this better? Better at all? Let me know. Cool. All right. I'll play some more music for you guys. I'll play Dark Eyes. Dark Eyes. Good.
Lounge chairs.
Lounge chairs.
Charbroil grills.
I wonder if I could be sued for that. Chase, I'll answer after this video. Enough. These playbacks are forever long. All right. Jimmy joins. Yes. Is what what is it you put on the maple fretboard to make it appear as yours does? My guitar teacher replied. Oh, I have no substance on it. It's no there's nothing on it. It's just the way it looks. Let's see. Oh, why is my thing freaking out? Why can't I see the comments anymore? There we go. Arpeggios for days, indeed. What's the best advice you can give someone just started learning at the age of 45? Practice all the time and really understand what it is that you're practicing. I think that's the one thing. By the way, if you guys want to watch this without the glare, go to youtube.com/Marbin Music. It's streaming live there with a much better camera and better microphone. Reminds me so much of Django Reinhardt. Yeah, I mean, he's like the point of this style, right? Everything's about him. Want to sit in with us at Funkfest? Sure, why not? Thanks for responding. Oh, of course, Michael. Pleasure. What gauge string do you use and why? I play 11s on acoustic and on electric. I don't like thin strings. They're too mushy. And when you have a good when your right hand technique is solid enough, then it really kind of is counterproductive to have it feel too much like jelly. You know, can you wiggle it just a little bit? Are you talking about dancing? I can't wiggle it. Gypsy songs for beginners that I can find tabs for. Been playing a few years. Ryan, yeah, I mean, tabs really are. Oh shit. Tabs really are not the way to go if you're trying to learn gypsy. It's not that kind of music. You really need to understand the connection between chords and scales. So if the first thing might be to try to learn how to read chord symbols, and that might be a good thing to do. So maybe chord charts. What's your thought process when composing new music for the band? Well, it's a good thing you ask. We just finished writing a new song today. Me and Danny wrote it together on Skype. It's called Diet Coke. It's about Adderall. And yeah, you know, we just sit down to write melodies, find melodies that are cool. Hey, man, can you show me how to do the rhythm? Sure. Yeah, let's talk about La Pompe. I have a video on that, actually. If you look, I just put it up on YouTube. If you go on YouTube, I made playlists. I organized things to lessons, jams. So on youtube.com/Marbin Music, you can really find a lot of the information that I already said, but I'll repeat it. But here, Diet Coke, that song, that it's gonna be like a fast blues, and it's like a. I don't know. That's good. That's the idea. So like, I think it goes like that kind of thing. Yeah. It's gonna be balanced. Learning caged. You got to break away from that cage, man. It's gonna, yeah. It's okay. So we're talking about chords. Want to learn La Pompe? So yeah, let's take an example song. Minor swing. Everybody likes minor swing, right? Drug of college education. For us, it's the Adderall is the drug of night driving. Keeps you up. Definitely lots of times. Every time I watch your lessons, I learn something new. I always steal some of your licks, incorporate them. Yeah, that's the point, man. We live in an age where you can learn from you know, the people you listen to. So that's I do the same thing, you know. Yeah, man, looking forward to the new song. It's gonna be fun. So yeah, let's talk about minor swing. So minor swing, you can really get around playing it with just 3 chord shapes. If you know an A minor 6, I'll tab it out for you guys. So that's like 5, skip a string, 4, 5, 5. That's the voicing I use for A minor. If you take that same voicing and shoot it to the 10th fret, you have D minor 6, which is the 2nd chord. And then like if you just play a standard E7, right? Like don't like 7, 7, 6, 7, 5, don't play the top string. So if you can, that's like that song at its most basic, right? Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Lucia. Hey, Sandy. So right? So just love that guitar. Thanks, Cheryl. Thanks, Lucia. So the idea there with this, I mean, I talked about it yesterday, but I have a lesson on it, and you really should watch it. But it's to get 2 and 4 short and snappy, and 1 and 3 bassy, right? And sounding like an upright bass, like a king, like to dink, to dink. You really want to create those 2 parts kind of shooting out of your playing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. But it's not slamming into 2 and 4. It's not. People play like that, and that's disgusting to play on, right? You don't want it to be very loud. You just want it to be short and snappy. Imagine you're playing a snare drum, right, with brushes. That's really the style. It's like it's 30s drumming. So you know you go like the 2 and 4 need to be short and snappy, but have a finesse and a musicality. Imagine if you played that 2 and 4 on a snare drum with a stick, like smacking into it. It wouldn't swing, right? There's a certain kind of feeling. Gypsy jazz bestellt both. This guy's asking me in Hebrew if I'm practicing gypsy jazz with 2 fingers. Will you sometimes play in Mexico? Yes. One day we will. We were just in Juarez in the winter, so we'll come back. Yeah, talking about gypsy with 2 fingers. Some of the licks make so much more sense with 2 fingers. Like, for instance, the 3-octave chromatic run, this... right? It's like you can play it so cleanly with just 2 fingers, you know? So it's like, it makes total sense to do it. A lot of the run, just like they're perfect for that. So I think it's beneficial to work on it. You know, I wouldn't play like that all the time. I mean, I use all 4 fingers. But when you're playing 4 fingers, you tend to stay more in position. When you're playing 2 fingers, you kind of go from position to position and play on a diagonal. And playing on that diagonal is really where a lot of the heart of the, you know, like Django's thing is really playing that way. It's really like mobile. Thanks, Larry. But yeah, once you start involving more fingers, you kind of stay in the across kind of playing more rather than... Right? Nice work, Phil from Brazil. Thanks, Phil from Brazil. Everybody, this is a good time to mention, I know I have an agenda I'm pushing with the YouTube thing, but go to youtube.com/MarbinMusic, subscribe, and this thing is streaming there right now with a microphone, which has better sound, and a camera that's much better, not a phone, and also not mirrored, so you can see me as a right-handed player. Just saying. And I also spent hours today organizing the videos we put on Facebook in an organized way and playlists on that YouTube channel, so you guys can browse through the past. Okay, let's see, what's another good song to play? How about Minor Swing? We were just talking about it. I don't have a lot of time to say, if you switch to Liberty Mutual, and switch to Liberty Mutual. It's the best insurance, I guess, according to YouTube. Can't play Minor Swing any longer. That was the longest solo ever. Jesus Christ. All righty. From Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Hey, Leonardo. How you doing, dude? 7 people watching on YouTube. 59 on Facebook. Jesus. How do we get... Anybody advise how we get our YouTube game up? I'm clueless. I've been trying for 2 days. Richmond was fun. It sure was. Nice. Love the bass. Go, man. Thanks, Ron. Hey, Jeff. Thanks, Ron. So clean. Thank you, guys. Streaming is not as smooth? Really? That's surprising to hear. Am I logged on to the right network? I am. Huh. That's crazy. All right, any music questions? I'll answer anything. Anything at all. I'm here again. Love watching your stream. Thanks, Archie. Tell your friends. Can you guys hit that share button? If you guys feel good about this and are learning something, please help us out with that. Just hit that share button. That's all we need. Share loving. Thanks, Jim. All right. I guess I'll play some more. What's a good song? The Chicken. I haven't played All of Me today. That's like my anthem.
Spiderwebs. Not forgetting.
Shout. Ed, what's going on? Hopefully, see you soon. Hey, Christy. Isn't it better? So long. Jesus Christ. All right. How does the Fender resonator sound with the single coil pickup? Actually, you know, it doesn't sound good. I hate it. But the guys from Bartolini Pickups, if you ever heard about this company, just sent me this guy that I'm going to put in it. So this is going to be a badass thing. It's ACE SV75 black. So it's going to be cool. Love it. Thanks. I've learned so much mimicking you. Oh, thanks, Philip. Somebody asked me a question. Brad asked me, I'm working on learning jazz swing gypsy style on mandolin, practicing chord scales, arpeggios, learning tunes, playing with others. What should I work to improve my improvisation? Learn modes and the connection to chords and how modes have the arpeggio information mixed with the tension information, and then learn. I would say a big thing to do is understanding that, like, you know, here's a little phrasing tip. So the most important part of a phrase is where it ends, and it controls the way the entire phrase sounds. Like it, and it's the same way in English. If I tell you something, the way I make the last word sound determines whether it's a question or whether it's a question, right? It's like, you know, it's like if I just say like, you know, kind of do this thing to my voice, then I can make the whole phrase sound a certain way. Like it affects the meaning, the way you articulate the last part of what you're saying. And in music, it has, you know, the place you end your phrase in the mode really colors the entire thing. So if I'm playing a phrase in C major, right, then it really matters which degree of the mode I stop on, right? The whole mode, the whole phrase. Loved you guys in Boston. Such a pleasure to meet you guys. Thanks, Evan. It was a pleasure to meet you too. So the whole phrase was going to sound a certain way. If I stop on the root, that's going to like cut it off, right? It's like really making it resolve, right? That kind of thing. Oh, I just lost my Facebook feed. What? How did that happen? You see, you guys on YouTube, the 9 of you have the right idea, because that didn't happen on YouTube. Gypsy lesson continued. Let me just start this back up. You see, if you guys were on YouTube, this wouldn't happen. So yeah, what does that say? Let me just, guys watching on YouTube, just bear with me while this Facebook connection reboots. My phone just freaked out, I guess. All right. So yeah, so what I was saying about phrasing. This whole lesson, by the way, for the people who just it got cut out on Facebook, is going to be on YouTube without this glitch. So the thing I was saying about phrasing is that where you end the phrases really determines the color of the whole thing. So if I'm playing over a C major and I'm playing a phrase, let's say 8th notes, and let's say I want to end on the root, it's going to sound, it's very final. But if I end on the 2, that thing, you know, that has more, you know, kind of a different feeling to it. The 3, Ding. It kind of echoes in your mind. Now, when you're phrasing over multiple chords, you get to choose where you stop your phrasing, right? So, hey, Dan. So if I'm playing, you know, let's say on All of Me, the first two chords are C, and then it goes to an E7, right? So I'm going to play a C major scale on C Ionian on C, and then an A or E Mixolydian flat 9, flat 13 on E, which is A harmonic minor. So let's say I want to stop on the flat 2 of the E, right? So I need to be able to carry my phrase across, right? And then have the control to stop on a specific note when I get there. So it's like, you know, if I slow it way down, like that's all C major, go into that E. So that's the flat 2. Here's E. This is the flat 2 of E. Stopping phrase on F on that E7 chord. Obviously, you're going to have some serious melodic control to be able to do that. But I'm improvising the whole way through using eighth notes on the C Ionian. Then I switch. Right? So that was like one phrase on those two chords. If I want, and it really matters which note I stop on, and that I'm able to continue the whole phrase through the chord changes, if that makes sense. So, you know, and you can do that, like, let's say I want to play an extended phrase to where I want to play like over the C, over the E, and then stop somewhere on the A, right? So on that A7, right, All of Me is C, E7, then A7 to D minor. Those are the chords. So with basic shapes, right? It's like C, E, A, and D minor, right? Well, I just played, you can play it with like more tensions, but that's basically the chords. So if you break down the modes that work on it, on the first one, it's a C major scale, C Ionian, E, A harmonic minor starting on the A, it's D harmonic minor. Right, and D minor is D Dorian. So what you want to be able to do is play a phrase, let's say, and stop wherever you decide to stop. That's the key thing, right? So that's no stops. Second chord, third chord. Now I'm gonna so I stopped on the 13th or the 6th of the D minor, right? So I played one phrase for basically 8 measures. So the measures are 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just counting measures. 5, 6, 7, 8. So what you really don't want to do in jazz is play one measure phrases like. That's two start stop, right? You need to carry your phrasing to connect bigger chunks of music. So, you know, you do that by separating at the right points. Make sense? Let's see. Play the clap. I can't. I will never learn the clap. It feels like it's impossible for me. Sending over my t-shirt, you guys rock. Thanks for sending over my t-shirt. Yeah. Glow, Manishma. Hey, Danny, you're amazing. Thank you. The D7, which doesn't resolve, for example, D Lydian dominant or A melodic minor. In other words, when you think about the scales or modes, do you think? Sorry, I lost half your message. Glow. So, do you have to play C major only on the C major chord? Would you pick that over C Lydian? Yeah, you have in that context, yeah, because that's the full sound of the chord. Again, you can always play out, but you know, out doesn't work. Like playing well has to do with matching the amount of dissonance you use to the style you're playing. Hey, Tino. So with gypsy jazz, it's a specific sound, right? Playing, you know, like we always make the joke that, like, you know, in avant-garde, you know, if you're playing avant-garde and you want to play out, just show up on the wrong day. That's the outest you can do, right? Thank you so much for sharing your guitar insight and expertise. You're welcome. Dlo, I need you to repeat the question, though. So I can talk about Lydian dominant. Like Lydian dominant is a good example on All of Me is what you play. You know, well, there's no Lydian dominant in that song. But if you have, like, let's say a 2-5-1, right? Like, and you play a 2 sub 5-1, that's like a place for Lydian dominant. A good example, too, is like, here, let me pull up a play along or something. Let's see, what's a good one? Stella by Starlight. Play along. There we go. Stella by Starlight.
Because we never forget whose dollar it is.
Okay. Let's see. Some questions first. Thanks, Katrina. You're great. Mason from Memphis, Tennessee. What's up, Mason? Let's see. I can't and don't play, but hope you are not upset that I added your channel to my new music channel for my house. Really enjoying this. Christy, I'm honored. Thank you. Some Jamiroquai, never. Is that Holdsworth gear behind you? Yep, Alan Holdsworth's amps are right here. If anybody wants to buy them on the black market, I'm selling them. I don't know if they actually belong to me, but you know, we'll see. We'll find out in a few years if I own them. Hey, Danny, cool Doberish Fender thing. Thank you so much, Edmund. Sing a song. No, not right now. But I'll play Stella, and that has some Lydian dominant. Now I'm going to talk about the point where it does have Lydian dominant in it. So. That's Lydian dominant. So that's some Stella. Can't wait till you're back in Colorado. We're coming back, UBH. We're coming back. We just booked some shows, Greeley and Denver and all that shit. So great lesson. Nice to meet you in Madison, Wisconsin. Hey, it was a pleasure to meet you too. Oh my God, 11 people on YouTube live. This is a record. It's not, you know, Facebook treats us much better. Over the D7, which doesn't resolve, would you think about D Lydian dominant or A melodic minor? Oh, well, okay. So to answer that, you know, it presupposes that you think about one when you really know it, and that's the wrong thing to think. Are you ever planning to visit Greece? I am planning to. I've been to the islands, but we're gonna come one day. I'm sure of it. So, you know, the way you actually think when you can play that stuff very fluidly is you stop really thinking about, you know, it doesn't, you kind of see it in a way that's more like language, right? It's more fluid. You don't need those again, when I explain it, when I bring it back to like articulate it back to you, then, you know, I could think about either. I think it's healthier to think about D Lydian dominant, because then you're really relating it to the chord itself, and that's how you actually hear it, right? When you're playing over a D, like a D7 with a sharp 11, you're not really hearing A as the root and then playing. That's not how that sound is relating. So it's like theory is giving names to sound. So the more correct way to view it is how it relates to the bass note that's being played at the moment. That's what one is, right? It's the temporary tonic of the situation. And then you ask yourself, what are the notes that fit over that temporary tonic, right? It's the tonic for as long as that chord is being played. And, you know, you really start hearing how these pitches and intervals relate back to that D as one, right? And after that, you kind of maybe have an ear for where that's going. Let's say that's a D flat 7 with a sharp 11 resolving to D flat major 7, which is a typical place for a chord like that to go. So it's so hearing resolutions is about how, you know, also hearing how notes in that mode resolve to the notes in the mode that it goes to, right? So that's how the 9th of D Lydian dominant resolved to the 9th of D flat major, right? Or the other way, the 9th resolved to the 3rd, right? Or the sharp 11 of D went to the 5th, or sharp 11 went to the 6th, right? Or the 5th of D going to the 5th. So you start hearing the resolutions inside the chord, right? This flat 7 going to the major 7. Other examples like the 6 going to the 6, or the 6 going to the 7. Make sense? Do you play diminished over minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio, or is that lazy? It's not lazy, it's just wrong, Todd. It's not the right sound. Another question. How do you get your intonation in playing so tight? Intonation? My intonation is not tight. My playing is tight. I would like to work on it, but I can't stand practicing the usual suggestion running down scales. Is that something I need to wood shop? Yeah, you got to work on it all the time. You know, it's tough to get clean technique. I think it's about being rhythmic. You know what a great thing is? Really thinking about your picking in a super aware kind of way. I really promote that Indian solfege stuff, but if you want to combine that with picking, a great thing to do is, let's say, you know, start being able to subdivide, take a pulse, and then, you know, start going like ta, 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 like just play quarter notes. then break it up to eighth notes, right? Ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka. Now, the next thing is to play triplets, but you want to be able to play them and stay in pattern, meaning going down, up, down is the pattern, but then when you reach that next one, you play another down, up, down, right? Down, up, down, 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 down. Then 16th notes, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Then 5. You see that? So whenever it's an uneven number, you want to be able to do the 2 consecutive downstrokes. Obviously, that's not going to work in every speed, but... John from Galax, Virginia. Any tips on how to solo without losing the melody? Yes, I'll get into that in a minute. That's in the YouTube chat. There's 8 people in there, and you should be one of them. YouTube.com/Marbin Music. So please subscribe to YouTube. I just organized a ton of our videos from Facebook that get buried in Facebook, and you can revisit them, learn all that stuff. There's all the tips, noodles, and shredding stuff. Tons of lessons I've made. Anyway, after that, you have 6 couplets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's down, up, down, up, down, up, right? So after that, like maybe a group of 7, like down, da, 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 right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 30-second. So being able to switch and retain that technique is good. Now, and fast tempo is the odd numbers, like let's say 3. Let's say I'm playing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So I obviously can't do like that down, up, down, down, up, down, down. That won't work, right? So that then I switch it to just playing down, up, down, up, down, up, right? Or 5, like. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, starting on an upstroke. That's tricky. 7. But practice with a metronome like that. That's a great thing to start controlling rhythm. What do you work on every time you pick the guitar, generally speaking? And do you ever feel like you're hitting a plateau? This ever happened to you? Oh, wow, a lot of questions I've missed. Let's see. How do you know what scales you use to solo over music? That's a great question. I'm going to get to all the questions. I'm going to do it. Well, I'm going to do it in order so nobody feels left out. So how do you know what scales to use to play over music? You have to start. What you have to do is ask yourself, what is harmonic analysis? How do I take a look at a chord progression and understand the function of each chord? And that's the story of modes, right? That's the story of, if I see a certain progression, chords leading from one to another, meaning qualities of chords revolving around each other in a key, how do I start naming them in terms of function? That the hints for that are like, is that the 2 chord, the 3 chord, the 5 chord, and how the game of matching more modes to the chord function actually works. It's kind of like the physics of music, and you get very fast at it after you learn to analyze a few songs. So like as a general, obviously, you know, I can't show you every example, but if I take a song like, I don't know, Sunny Side of the Street, right? So I'm just going to tell you what it is. The first chord is the 1 chord. That's C. I play C Ionian. Second chord is E7. That's 5 of 6. I'm saying these things so you have the sense of the language that you don't understand and need to define for yourself. 5 of 6 gets Mixolydian flat 9, flat 13, which is the harmonic minor of the chord it goes to, meaning a harmonic minor on that E7. On that E7, it's 1, flat 2, 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7. If that sounds like Chinese, that means you have a lot of work to do, right? The next chord is F Lydian, because it's the 4 chord. The next chord is F sharp diminished. You can play a fully diminished, symmetric diminished on that. G7 is G Mixolydian. Then it's E7 over G sharp, which means it's another 5 of 6. Then the 6th chord, you actually play Dorian on it, even though technically it should be Aeolian, but it goes to 5 of 5, which is D7, right? Whenever you have a 2-5, you play the same relative mode on both. It's a nicer sound. And then a 2-5-1, so that's D Dorian, G Mixolydian, C, right? So that's just kind of an overview, but there was a lot of terminology in there you didn't understand. And until you understand it, it's going to be a continuous challenge. So you need to set yourself on a path of understanding harmonic analysis in the terms of that. Secondary dominance, primary dominance, chord function. And it's possible. It's not that much work. There are only 12 notes, and it's the study of the relationships of those 12 notes. Okay. Re diminished over. I think nothing is wrong if played with resolution outside. Okay, well, I mean, that's Steve. That's just about our semantic definition of the word wrong. Wrong to me is sounds funny to people who know what things should sound like. So if you're playing half diminished chord, right? Like an E minor 7 flat 5, and you treat it like a totally diminished chord, it's fine. It's just that it doesn't tell the story of the harmony to that extent, right? It's more ambiguous. So it's not wrong. It just, you know, is it's like having less control, right? It's like, you know, you're still in the, if that's the only thing you do wrong, then it's kind of like, you know, walking somewhere. You know, it's like you're vaguely in the same direction. You just took a turn that's less precise, right? I think since you're playing, you know, a very old style of music that sounds in a very specific way, I don't play gypsy jazz for a living. I do it for, you know, as a hobby. And the whole idea for me is that I want to do it in a way that sounds not funny, right? Sounds as right as I can get it. Now, that's a question of aesthetics, right? But let's not dig into philosophy. For me, there's a right and wrong sound, and I get to decide what that is. I don't really care so much about what you think, you know, and you shouldn't care too much about what I think if you're tapped into something real. But yeah, I mean, so if the reason you're playing fully diminished chords over half diminished chords is that you like that sound, that's one thing. If it's because you're, you haven't learned appropriate fingerings for half diminished arpeggios, then you should just spend the time and do that to have the control. If that makes sense. Let's see, somebody else asks, what do you work on every time you pick up the guitar? Generally speaking, do you have, hitting a plateau? Yeah, oftentimes, you know, your playing doesn't change for a while. It's a simple idea of no input, no output, you know, so you got to put new music into your body and think about the challenges that music presents, right? So it's like listen to Jimmy Rosenberg, you try to figure out something. So you got to, but you got to play a lot too. And the balance of progression has to do with putting things in and taking things out and letting things filter out of your playing organically. The more you play, the more you kind of hold things and let them go. You know, the best way to move forward is to play a lot of gigs, because you get sick of yourself playing the same shit, right? You play it and play it and play it. And then after a while, it's like, oh my God, I can't hear myself playing like this over C minor another night, right? So you have to learn something new just to not bore yourself to death, right? Fine looking guitar you have there. Thank you, Christopher. Thanks, Josh. Do you play other instruments? No, I don't play any other instruments. I can play a little bit of bass. John from Galax, Virginia. Any tips on how to solo without losing the melody? You don't really need to. I mean, you need to play melodically, but it's not. There's kind of a myth in jazz that you kind of hold to the melody. Always play the melody in a circle in your head.
That is nonsense. That's just bullshit. It's not true, right? It's like not every chorus you're just singing all of me. Why not take all of me? And then solo. It's like nobody does that. But the harmony, the harmonic line that supports all of me is something that that you keep in your mind. You keep the chords. You keep the whatever the actual structure of the song. If that makes sense. I think it's time to shred more. It's definitely time to shred more. Let's see. Maybe some more gypsy jazz style. That's not gonna work. Let's do See You in My Dreams. I like that song. That's enough of that. All right. All right. Let's see what you guys are saying. Sweet baby Jesus. Guitargasmic. Thanks, Trevor. So, do you think you won't get too far without backing tracks? Dude, I barely use backing tracks. I just use them for these live feeds. Audra Cohen, Mike Leonard. Love watching you play. Thank you.
How many hours a day do you play? I just started today. Do you play? Yeah, so that was it for those comments. But still, a lot of you haven't signed up for our YouTube, youtube.com/Marbin Music. Please go there. It's streaming there too. I'm going to slowly phase the streaming to YouTube. So for now, I'll do both. But it looks better, it sounds better, and it's better kept. And we need to work on our YouTube presence. So if you're watching this and enjoying this, share the video. What's up, Steve Barlow? Do you stretch before you play? I do not stretch. Do not at all. All right, I'm taking off. I got things to do. Thank you guys for watching. It's going to be up on YouTube, so go there and watch it.